my 6. There will always be doubting Thomases, negative Neds, negative Nellies, naysayers, folks who will tell you that the stories of which I'm about to read you are not true. They possibly couldn't happen. It defies all logic. These are the thoughts of lesser men and women who say these things, folks who don't get up off the couch and actually go out and live. It's amazing how when you never enter the forest, of course, you're never going to have any of these experiences. But let's just say that those of us who do go out and live life rather than sit at home with our habits, our addictions, watching mainstream media, allowing life to live us, actually do have some such experiences. Let me entertain your thoughts for just a few minutes. This is a story left in the comments section from a video I made recently about him, her, it, or they, hide and seek world champion. It comes from one of our followers here on the channel, Johnny Calhoun 5381. Johnny, I want to thank you personally for sharing your experience with the world by putting it on social media. I found it such an enlightening and interesting experience that I wanted to share it with everybody here on the channel in case they missed it. And folks, FYI, if you have a story, a personal experience with anything related to Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Mothman, anything paranormal, supernatural, UFO, send it into the channel. We do have an email address. It's in the description box below. It's crazylake@mail.com. crazylake@mail.com. Share your story with us. Give us permission to share it. And I'll bring it out here and share it with the world. So Johnny Calhoun writes, Johnny Calhoun 5381. I had a run-in with a very large woodsman around 1980 or 1981 while heading out of the woods. I was bow hunting and I was headed down a 2-track trail at last light to get to my blazer and call it a day. I am 6 feet 6 inches tall and weigh 245 pounds. So Johnny's a big guy. And standing maybe 15 to 20 yards in front of me, taking up half of the 2 tracks, was this massive man facing me. I can say the male was 9 to 10 feet in height, 4.5 to 5 feet wide across the shoulders, had no neck, and was pushing 600 to 700 pounds in weight. His eyes were a dark pink in color, and I don't think either one of us blinked. I had my Bear compound bow with 6 arrows, with broadheads, and my Ruger Super Blackhawk 44 mag with 250 grain hollow points, but never even thought of using either. He huffed at me and turned to his left and stepped off the trail. I could make out his body traveling through the trees. I knew the creek was probably 20 yards in front of him, and I had made up my mind that when I heard him crossing the creek, I was going to get the hell out of there. He crossed the 15 feet wide creek in stride. I could kind of see him, but mainly heard that he was traveling on the other side of the creek in the direction I'd been coming from. He either stopped or I just couldn't hear him or see him anymore. I was still standing in the same spot, and why I hadn't moved I can't say. But when he screamed at me, a sound that I heard and felt, it caused every hair on my body to stand up. Being a U.S. Marine and being in Beirut in 1983, and Johnny, thank you for your service, I have heard some loud sounds. His scream sounded like a fighter jet flying at 500 miles per hour at 50 feet off the ground directly over my head. I snapped out of my trance and ran the 75 yards to my blazer, and I got the hell out of there. This all happened while hunting in the North Georgia mountains. Wow, what an experience. Follow-up question for you, Johnny, if you happen to see this video, which I hope you do. And again, let me thank you for sharing your experience with us in the comment section. Did you ever go back to that specific location, or were you, after that, were you like, no way, I'm not going there again? And if you did go back, did you ever have any more experiences with whatever this thing was? Just if you wouldn't mind letting us know in the comment section, we'd appreciate it. I've got another one for you. And this one piqued my interest for a couple of reasons. We've often heard about cattle mutilations, and this has been a big thing, especially out west, especially in the American southwestern desert. Cattle mutilations, we often think of beings from other planets. You think about other forms of livestock, chickens, goats, sheep, we often think of chupacabra. I think this one kind of fits the description of potentially him, her, it, or they. So let me read you this one. And another reason that this one kind of stuck out to me is because this takes place in part of the world where I grew up and spent the first quarter century of my life, West by God, Virginia. So this was, again, left in the comment section, public domain, by one of our followers, Don Burkebeck 996. So Don, thank you for your story. Don writes, when I was little, we lived on a farm of 350 acres in Wayne, West Virginia. It's about 20 minutes from Huntington, West Virginia. Don, I know exactly where it is. Anyway, we had cows, and when one would die, we would take a tractor and bury them deep in the ground because they had gotten some sort of disease. Something kept digging them up and eating them. I know what people will say, oh, a coyote or a bear is digging them up. But here's the interesting part, Don writes. There were no drag marks. No drag marks. So whatever was getting them was lifting them up and out of a 6 feet deep hole. Guys, have any of y'all ever tried to pick up a cow? I haven't either, but they're heavy. I mean, you can tell by looking at them. Then one night, Don continues, we saw it. My dad shot it 5 times with a .30-30. It screamed, fell down, and then got back up and took off like it had only gotten stung by a bee. No blood trail, nothing. We moved after that. So, Don, thank you for your share. Quite an interesting story. Could you imagine? Social media, so I gotta watch my terminology. I actually dispatched my first deer back in West by God, Virginia, back in probably 1990-ish, with a .30-30. Let me tell you, those high-powered rifles have some knockdown power. So for something like that, to get hit 5 times with that, fall down, and then stand up and take off running like it just been stung by a bee, it's insane. That's no coyote and that's no bear. So folks, again, this video was kind of shorter than usual, much more brief. But I do want to thank those folks who shared those stories with us. And I want to remind all of you, if you have a story that's related to Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Mothman, Dogman, anything, cryptozoological, supernatural, paranormal, send it in. October's quickly approaching. We've got Halloween coming up. That's a fun time of year for us around here at the channel. And for those of you who've been following us for years, kind of like an October storyteller. Send me some stories to tell. Give us your permission to share them if you send them into the email address, which is crazylake@mail.com. And in advance, thank you. Hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for another one. See you for more next time.